What is up, guys? Welcome. This is a live underwater squat, my community on school.com/underwater squats. So today I'm going to walk you through the whole thing, like what is the underwater squat. If you've been on the fence, if you've seen my videos with talking about the underwater squat and you're not really sure whether this is something for you, well, this video might clear up your doubts. So guys, let's take a look at what exactly you're getting inside, right? So first of all, what is the underwater squat? It is a community, a group on the platform called School. Now, School is a relatively new platform, a bit similar with Facebook, but probably better. And it's also more concentrated. So on School, we don't have just everyone. On School, we only have people who are actually running communities. And that makes the quality of the content that is on School way higher than on Facebook. So just to give you an idea of what is actually School, you could compare it with Facebook. We also have like a community page where you can post. You can have a classroom here where you have the different courses. So we can do a calendar, Zoom calls. So every Wednesday and Saturday we do calls in the underwater squat. So it's a bit more extended, a bit more elaborated than Facebook. It is more a platform that is catered to people who want to actually run a community, not necessarily a business, but a community. So you can make whatever kind of group on the School platform, whether that is about painting or about how to learn to work with AI or how to hold your breath longer, like my community. You can, as a community owner, have your own group in here. By the way, if you want to start your own group, you can always use my affiliate link, start your own group on School. So let's go to the classroom, guys. Let's go to the classroom. Here we have the training program. So you start with the ultimate one, the 6-week challenge, which is not only a challenge, but more like a master course in breathwork. So here you get all the breathwork you need to understand what breathing is actually about, to understand about CO2 tolerance. And this is the basis for your longer breath holds. If you skip this, you will never be able to hold your breath longer. Here you get all the necessary theory and practice to understand about breath holding. It is the perfect setup for you to hold your breath longer. So every day you get a 15-minute workout that starts with 5 minutes of stretching, because we need to stretch the thoracic area, well, the whole body, but primarily the thoracic area, which is the chest, the shoulders, the upper back, because there are the lungs. So the more we stretch the upper body, the more our respiratory muscles will be flexible and the better we can breathe and the more air we can take in when we take that final breath. So breathing basics we get in the first week: alternate breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, chest breathing, Ujjayi breath, and eventually how to take a final breath, because most people think they take in all the air they can, but they're leaving at least 20-30% on the table. So if you learn to take a final breath in the correct way, then you can take in more air and thus hold your breath longer. In week number 2, we are extending the breath. So we're starting to do mini breath holds. We are doing FRC and RV, just the theory, so you understand what that is. FRC is functional residual capacity and RV is residual volume. So this is empty lung breath holding. Now, this is an advanced technique. You're not supposed to master this already. We're just in beginners stages now, right? I'm just giving you the theory so you know exactly what is empty lungs, because most people have the wrong conception about what is empty lungs. Most people think when they exhale they are on empty lungs, but there's still a lot of air in the lungs. So we cover all of that. What exactly does it mean, empty lungs? We practice intercostal breathing, full yogic breath. All of these exercises will make you understand and control your breathing better. In week number 3, we are starting to breathe a bit less. Breathing less or holding your breath is more or less the same, right? When you breathe less, you are almost holding your breath. We do exercises like square breathing, where we train CO2 tolerance, where we also learn to hold the breath after exhalation. We talk about the differences between hyperventilation, tidal breathing, and hypoventilation. This here is extremely interesting and also not so easy to understand. So that's why I dedicate specific videos on this topic. 99% of all the people in the world have no idea, first of all, what hyperventilation exactly is. And second, if they know what is hyperventilation, then what does it do to your body and your mind? Hyperventilation lowers CO2, but what does that actually mean? What does it do? So the opposite of hyperventilation is hypoventilation, which means breathing less. So hyper is more, hypo is under, and tidal breathing is the sweet spot in between. Tidal breathing is the breathe up we use for freediving, to hold our breath. Extremely interesting, guys, and if you decide to join the underwater squad, this is a recurring topic. We will keep on talking about this because it can take quite some time until you fully grasp the essence of tidal breathing, hyperventilation, hypoventilation. Once again, 99% of the whole world population does not understand this. So if you want to set yourself apart, if you want to be a knowledgeable person that doesn't talk bullshit about breathwork, because there's so much bullshit on the internet, if you want to actually know what you're talking about, then these 3 days are extremely important. And then of course the Bohr effect, which is an effect that describes how lower CO2 can actually make you, no, let me rephrase that. It's an effect that describes how higher CO2 can actually make you hold your breath longer. So the higher your levels of CO2, which also comes with more urge to breathe, so a more uncomfortable breath hold, right? How this can actually help you in distribute the oxygen better to your working muscles. Super interesting. And we end up with triangle breathing. And then on week number 4, we do more stretching. We do the Uddiyana Bandha, which is the abdominal stretch. So we are going to stretch our diaphragm. Why do we need to stretch our diaphragm? Because the diaphragm is the main respiratory muscle, and if this muscle is more flexible, then we can lower the diaphragm more and take in more air. So this is how it looks like in the seated position. And we also have a standing Uddiyana Bandha, where we're going to stand up, basically do the same, suck in that diaphragm. Let me see if I have the right image for this. Here we go down, we exhale, then we stand up, and now we're going to suck in that diaphragm. Can the camera show it? Show my stomach, please. We rest on our, yes, there it is, and we suck in that diaphragm. Seated position, standing position, and we can also do it in a laying down position. Overcoming stress and anxiety. Everything is super important in here, guys. If you master the 6-week challenge, you will know so much more than 99% of the world population who doesn't know about breathwork. We talk about mental techniques like visualization, how you can keep your mind sane and in a positive spot while you are holding your breath. Visualization. We do alternate nostril breathing for focus, more square breathing, cold water facial immersion. So this triggers the mammalian diving reflex. We will talk about MDR, mammalian diving reflex, later. If you dip your face in cold water, you are triggering certain receptors in here which trigger that mammalian diving reflex, which triggers bradycardia, which is lowering of the heart rate, which triggers peripheral vasoconstriction, which comes with vasodilation of the main organs like your brain and your heart. So the more oxygen you get to your brain, the better, of course. So in order for that to happen, you need vasodilation here, vasoconstriction in the extremities of the body. This can be triggered by dipping your face into the water or by holding ice packs on your face like I'm doing here in the video. So here I'm dipping my face in the water. Let me see if you have, yes, ice, water, and then for like 10 or 20 seconds, you dip your face in there. If you do that every morning, my God, you will increase the quality of your life so much. You will find yourself more energetic, more grounded, also more calm. This is an awesome practice to combat sudden stress. Like if you have like a sudden stress attack, Try this. Try dipping your head in cold water. It will help you. We do the body scan, which is another technique to calm down your mind. So the body scan basically comes down to getting the stress out of each and every body part. So stress out of your fingers, stress out of your hands, stress out of your wrist, stress out of your elbow, stress out of your shoulder. So you go over all the different body parts, chin, neck, jaws, tongue, forehead, everywhere. You scan that whole body and you make sure all tension is out of there. We do the humming Brahmari pranayama, which creates certain vibrations in your brain, which calm you down. So we talk about a lot of techniques here to find peace in every breath, because stress and anxiety is the biggest enemy of breath holding. People think, oh, I can't hold my breath because I'm running low on oxygen. No, that's a beginner's mistake. It's a mistake to think that it's about oxygen. It's not about oxygen. Breath holding is all about finding peace. It's about calming down. So we spend a lot of effort and time on learning the skill of relaxation. And then in week number 6, we round up this 6-week challenge with different breath hold routines for specific goals like energy and focus, sleep, focus and balance. And we end the 6-week challenge with total Zen, 10 minutes of tidal breathing. And tidal breathing is just normal, light breathing, like if you're reading a book, like when you're watching TV, normal, light breathing. Nothing specifically happens. And we're going to do this for 10 minutes because most people, maybe you as well, are unable to just sit still on a chair and just breathe calmly and not do anything. If you cannot sit on a chair for a couple of minutes and be one with yourself without having to look around and think about a million things, how do you think you're going to be able to hold your breath? It's impossible. So you first have to learn to calm down, sit on a chair and do nothing. Because guess what? When you hold your breath, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to either sit on a chair or lay down on your bed or a yoga mat and do nothing. If you are unable to do nothing, you can't hold your breath. It's impossible. It's not about CO2 tolerance. It's not about oxygen. It's about you being unable to just simply sit on a chair and do nothing. That's breath holding. So when we are done with the 6-week challenge, you can get a certification, claim your Ultimate One certificates. So as many people who have in the Underwater Squad have gotten their certifications. I post this on Instagram as well. And then it's time to go to Ultimate 2, the breath hold training program, where we divide the breath hold times into different ranges. So we have 0 to 1 minutes for absolute beginners, 1 minute to 2 minutes, 2 minutes to 3 minutes, and 3 minutes to 4 minutes. So we have different training plans for each range. And these are training plans, training methods that are based upon relaxed and enjoyable breath hold. So it's only once in a while that we are going for a maximum breath hold, and a maximum breath hold at the end is a bit uncomfortable, right? We only do this once in a while, because if you do this too much, then you create a negative connotation towards breath holding. People get even more anxious. So the way to get people to longer breath holds is to make them enjoy breath holding. And how do you make people enjoy breath holding? It is by doing breath holds that stop when it becomes uncomfortable. And we call this no contraction breath holds. So you hold your breath until you feel the first contraction, the diaphragmatic contraction or the CO2 contraction, however you want to call it. And you do that multiple times. That's how you learn to become comfortable with breath holds. And of course, once in a while, we do breath holds that go deeper into contractions and we go for maximums. For instance, last week, Johnny from the Underwater Squad, he held his breath for 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So this is the Ultimate 2 training plan up until 4+ minutes. Now, you don't have to wait to train your breath hold while you're still an Ultimate 1. You might think, oh, but do I have to do 6 weeks first of this breathwork challenge before I can start holding my breath? No, you cannot. You don't have to wait. You can already hold your breath by jumping on the calls. So in the calendar, we have bi-weekly calls. breath hold training. So every Wednesday and Saturday, we have breath hold training, exactly 30 minutes, not shorter, not longer, where we all hold our breath together. And if you cannot join, that is perfectly fine because we all live in different time zones. Then you can go to the community live replay. Here you have the replays of all our breath hold training sessions. So yesterday, today is Sunday, so yesterday, Saturday evening here in Thailand, we did a breath hold training session, and this is how it looks like. So we have people on the Zoom calls and we all hold our breath. So I guide you through these sessions. And what is the fun part about this? It is the fact that you don't have to do this alone. So you can watch the people doing this. You can learn from their facial expressions. You can learn from the way they go through this training program. So you can talk with each other on the community tab. You can exchange experiences. So you are not alone. So I think the biggest advantage or the biggest pro of this community is the fact that you are together with other people. So you can join these calls live, or you can watch the replay. And we do different kinds of breath holds. Here we have a progressive 3-minute breath holds on mild hyperventilation. So that's another thing. So sometimes we try mild hyperventilation for static apnea. If you want to know the difference between tidal breathing and mild hyperventilation, we explain all of that inside the community. Here we start with stretching, FRC stretching, and Ujjana Bandha. So the Ujjana Bandha is what I just explained, right? The abdominal stretch. So let me take a look how that looks like. Yeah, so here the people are doing the standing Ujjana Bandha. So I'm demonstrating this, and people are stretching together with me. So this is guided stretching and guided breath holding. What else? Here we started with Kapalbhati, Ujjana Bandha, square breathing, and CO2 tolerance training tables. Here we did apnea walks. So every other Wednesday, we do apnea walks on these Zoom calls. Yes, how good is that, right? So you're not only going to do static apnea, you're going to do walking while holding your breath. Apnea walking on the Zoom calls.
Did you feel it yourself?
Let me see, are the people walking in here? Let me just show you an image of people walking. No, here they are not yet walking. Anyway, I'll take another. Let me get another one. Apnea walking. So I just want to show you how it looks like when people are walking on the Zoom call, because you might ask yourself, how is this possible, right? So you're going to have to hold your phone or your tab
I just realized
in your hand, of course. I'm not sure if I can.
And hold.
Yes, here people are walking. So here we can see we're actually doing square breathing while walking. So square breathing you can do when you do static apnea. Here we are doing square breathing while walking on the count of 4. So people are walking here while they're not exactly holding their breath. They're doing a breath work routine, square breathing. All right. So let's go back to the classroom, because besides Ultimate 1 and Ultimate 2, which is the core content of this classroom, we also have an exercise library where you have all the exercises together. We have the stretching routines, the breathing routines, and the breath holding routines. And we have a breathwork masterclass where we talk in depth about specific topics, like for instance here, FRC and RV. We talk about the lung volume. So what is your lung volume? What's your maximum lung capacity? What is the volume of air that is still in your lungs when you do a passive exhalation? What's the volume of air that is still in your lungs when you do a forceful exhalation, like a RV? So we see all of this in this graphical representation. And we get, this is like a 30-minute masterclass on FRCs and RV. We also talk about oxygen saturation and hypoxia and the difference between tidal breathing and hyperventilation. Many masterclasses about mindsets. What is holding you back the most when you are holding your breath? How to delay contractions and enjoy static apnea more, and so on in breathwork. For instance, here 10 tips to achieve comfort and joy in static apnea, because when you want to hold your breath, you want to enjoy this to the maximum, right? And the more you enjoy your breath hold, the longer you will be able to hold your breath. And we also talk about specific breathing, like how should you breathe outside of the scope of breath holding or freediving. So when you just go to the gym and you exercise, how can you breathe to get the maximum out of your health? So that is all in the classroom, guys. And on the 7th of July, so in about 1 week, we are starting a mini challenge. So sometimes we do these mini challenges, consider them as a little extra inside of the community. 7-day apnea walking challenge, where I will guide you through a 7-day, 1 week apnea walking program, starting on day 1 with very beginner exercises up until day 7, where we go a little deeper into the apnea walking. So very interesting as well. Then we have a member step where you can see all the members. We currently have 78 members, so you can contact members here if you want to talk privately to other members, discuss your progress with members, or just make friends. Here we have all the members. We have the map, so here you can see where in the world our members of the Underwater Squad are located. So if you live, for instance, in this region, then you can see, oh, this person is living close to me. Maybe we can meet up one day or go freediving together. So this might be an awesome tool to find buddies to freedive. And in the leaderboards, you see your points. So you get points every time you participate in the community and people like your post, or they like your comment, or they comment on your comment, then you get points. So you get rewarded for being active in the community, and the more points you get, the higher you score on the leaderboards. We have a 7-day leaderboard, a 30-day leaderboard, and the all times leaderboard. And based upon these points, you can get certain perks, like unlocking certain functionality. Like for instance here, chat with members is unlocked when you reach level 2. And level 2 you already reach when you only write like 1 or 2 posts or get a few likes on it. So it goes very fast. In only a couple of days you can already reach a level 2. So these things are just made to incentivize people to be active in the community and share their progress, right? For instance, you can share your wins. Here in the wins category, you can post your milestones. And a milestone does not necessarily have to be a PB. Like here, Hartono Johnny says, hey, new PB 4.10 minutes, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. It can also be something else. For instance, unexpected no contractions PB 1:45. So Alessandra held her breath to 1 minute and 45 seconds without contractions at all. So that's also a milestone, right? So in this breath hold journey, we do not only think about milestones in terms of how long can I hold my breath. A milestone can be, hey, today I held my breath very confidently and I feel more joy when holding my breath. I feel more calm. That is a huge milestone as well. When you complete, for instance, Ultimate One and you get your certification, you can post all of that in here. So here people encourage each other talking about their different milestones. Announcements, when there is something we do, for instance, the apnea walking sessions every other Wednesday. We recently introduced this, so I announced this here. The live replays, we've already gone over this, right? So here we have the live replays of our bi-weekly Zoom calls in case you wouldn't be able to make it. And we have just questions like Mariano had not exactly a question, but more like an observation about tidal breathing. So he discovered the benefits of tidal breathing in the Ultimate One, the 6-week breath work challenge. And he understands now how important this is. And he understands the importance of slightly elevated levels of CO2. And he wrote an interesting post about this. Just finished week 3, day 4, Ultimate One. I found it interesting how tidal breathing is both most natural thing in the world and also slightly challenging. True. Working out the points just before becoming air-starved at the same time. This might be a little bit difficult maybe to understand for you, but if you follow the 6-week challenge, this will all make sense. It's also interesting how the body just naturally finds a rhythm to maintain that point eventually. Exactly. For me, I'm finding that point about 20 to 30% of a full breath. I also think I'm beginning to feel my lungs working on adapting the increase in CO2. Fantastic, awesome. So I give a little, I wrote a comment on this with some more numbers. So tidal volume is around half a liter, while inspiratory capacity is around half a liter plus 2.5 liters. All depends on how you are built, of course, especially the rib cage. So 0.5 liters is approximately 16, let's say 20% of 3 liters. So this is the community. And when you go to school.com/underwater squat, you will come to this page. This is the first page you will see. So we have a 7-day apnea walking challenge that starts July the 7th. This might be a nice entry point for you to join the underwater squats. You don't need to wait until July the 7th. It's actually better if you would join already now, because then you can start the ultimate one already and go through some basic theory so you understand how to take a final breath, you understand how to do certain things, the recovery breath, the importance of CO2. So if you join now and you follow already some days of this 6-week challenge, you will be better prepared for the 7-day apnea walking challenge that starts July 7th. So I hope to see you guys joining this challenge. So join already now. You can take a look at the different slides in here. So in case you wouldn't know who I am, I'm a freediving instructor and coach. My name is Gert Leroy. I'm a former national record holder for Belgium. I have 1.5 million YouTube subscribers, and now I dedicate my life to helping beginners like you hold their breath longer. So we have Johnny, who had a 4.10 minute static. We have Meili, who is celebrating almost a 4-minute hang. Yesterday I hanged 3 minutes and 45 seconds at a 2-meter depth. So this is 3 minutes and 45 seconds underwater, guys. So we train our breath in the underwater squat on dry land, of course. I'm not expecting you to be underwater while you're online, right? So all of this is dry. But of course you can, with a buddy, try breath holding underwater. Once again, never do this alone. Always do this with a buddy. And Meili reached 3 minutes and 45 seconds underwater. Absolutely fantastic. We have La Joy, rocked out advanced personal best, 3 minutes 45 seconds. Thank you, Gert. I hit 50 meters dynamic and 20 meters constant weight. I am very grateful for this course for helping me achieve this goal. If you guys want to know what you get inside, well, you can watch this video, of course, the live session you're watching right now, or you can watch a more condensed video. This is a 4-minute video talking you through
if you're a new
the
or aspiring freediver
underwater
and you
squat.
struggle
So
to hold your breath
here
longer,
you get the summary
think,
of this
well, it's
live
about oxygen,
session,
right? I
actually,
need
where I
more
talk you
oxygen
through
so I can
all the
live
different
call.
courses. Join now. Try risk-free 3-day money-back guarantee is $37 per month. You can cancel anytime. You stay as long as you want. If you want to stay only 1 month, that's perfectly fine. Most people, they stay several months, and I have many people who are actually staying for over 10 months because they just enjoy holding their breath together with other people. And breath holding is not something you do for only 1 month, right? It's an ongoing process. So you decide. Some people stay only 1 month, some people stay in here for 10 months or even longer. I hope to see you inside and train our breath hold together with you, everyone together. That's it, guys. I have a couple of comments in here. So Boss, Joff, Spearfishing, thank you so much. Sir, I always are watching. That's cool. So I have a lot of spearfishermen as well. We have a Randall, who is a spearfisherman. So basically, this community is for freedivers and for anyone who wants to learn to hold the breath. That can be mermaids, that can be spearfishermen, but you don't necessarily have to be a freediver, a mermaid, or a spearfisherman, because breath holding goes far beyond just the sport of freediving. If you are someone like just a person who wants to be healthy, and you decide that you want to learn these freediving techniques just for the sake of your general health, because breath holding is healthy, then you can join as well. We have people who have never freedived before and who probably won't ever freedive, and they have been in this community for several months. because they understand the benefits of breath holding. That's it, guys. I hope to see you soon inside of the community, school, skool.com/underwater squad. The link is in the description. See you soon. Peace in every breath.